The following BLTV program is brought to you by O'Flaherty Law. Please enjoy.
Welcome to Learn About Law. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, and today we're going to explain the modification of spousal maintenance obligations in Illinois. First, we're going to talk about the three situations that spousal maintenance will terminate prior to the date stated in the order. Then we'll discuss what qualifies as a substantial change in circumstances that allows one of the parties to either raise or lower the amount of spousal maintenance that's being paid. Finally, we'll talk about the procedure for modifying or terminating spousal maintenance payments. So first, let's talk about the three situations in which spousal maintenance will terminate prior to the date stated in your spousal maintenance order. One is when the recipient is living in a continuous conjugal cohabitation relationship with someone else. So a couple things to pick apart there. One, they have to be living with someone else, but they can't. It's not enough for them to just be roommates. They have to be in a conjugal relationship with that person, and it has to be continuous. So hooking up one time with a roommate doesn't necessarily qualify. It's got to be an ongoing thing. The second situation is remarriage of the recipient. And in this situation, the person who's receiving spousal maintenance and remarrying has to give 30 days notice prior to the remarriage to the obligor so that the person who's paying spousal maintenance has time to file a motion to terminate spousal maintenance as of the date of the marriage. If the decision to get married happens within that 30-day window, then they have to give at least 72 hours notice. Finally, the death of either party terminates spousal maintenance. The estates of the parties are not involved in maintenance payments. The estate of the recipient is entitled to payment, and the estate of the obligor isn't required to make any payments to the recipient. When these termination events happen, it's not enough to just stop paying spousal maintenance. You have to go into court and file a motion to terminate spousal maintenance. But any payments that you make after the date of the event will be paid back to you. The person who received the payments has to pay back anything that was paid to them after the date of the terminating event. So that's pretty clear cut. Those are the situations when spousal maintenance will terminate prior to the date of the order. But you can also modify your spousal maintenance order if you've had a substantial change in circumstances, and this can cause the payments to go up or down depending on the circumstances. And there are several factors that courts will look at to determine whether to modify spousal maintenance based on a substantial change in circumstances. Unlike the termination events we discussed earlier, this is discretionary, meaning the courts may choose to modify the spousal maintenance, but they're not obligated to. Like with the termination events, they're obligated to terminate the spousal maintenance when that motion is filed. So let's talk about the different factors that courts look at when deciding whether to modify spousal maintenance. One is a change in the employment status of either party, as long as it's in good faith. So if one of the parties, if the obligor loses their job, then they may be able to have their spousal maintenance reduced. Now, if they quit their job just for the purpose of avoiding spousal maintenance payments, then that's not going to help them. The court's going to use potential income, not their actual income. Similarly, any increase or decrease in income from all sources will be considered by the court. Efforts made by the recipient of spousal maintenance to become self-sufficient. So if you're receiving spousal maintenance, you have an obligation to try to become self-sufficient and not rely on that spousal maintenance. And if the person who's paying can prove that you're not making any effort to do so, you may have your payments reduced or terminated. Impairment of present or future earning capacity of either party. So this is kind of different from losing your job. It's if you get a disability or there's some other reason that you can't continue to earn the way that you did when the original spousal maintenance order was entered, then that may change the spousal maintenance payments. The tax consequences of spousal maintenance on either party. We have an article and video about the tax consequences of spousal maintenance at learn-about-law.com. So check that out to see how spousal maintenance is treated according to the most recent tax laws. The duration of the maintenance payments that have been previously paid and that are scheduled to be paid, so where you are in the maintenance schedule, relative to the length of the marriage is another factor. And finally, the property that's acquired or owned by each party after the divorce. So if someone came into a windfall, they may not be entitled to receive the same level of spousal maintenance payments that they would have previously. So those are the factors that courts will look at to determine whether there has been a substantial change in circumstances. If they determine that there has been a substantial change in circumstances, the court can modify maintenance accordingly. It's important to note here that both for the termination events and for the modification of spousal maintenance, you can't use self-help. You can't, if you lose your job, just stop paying spousal maintenance. What you have to do is go into court, you file a motion to modify spousal maintenance or motion to terminate spousal maintenance that alleges the grounds for modification or termination, and then there will be a hearing, at which point you will have to prove the basis of your grounds for modification of termination of spousal maintenance. And when you file this motion, you'll also have to you'll have a court date set, and in that court date, you'll also file a notice of motion, and in that notice of motion, it'll state the court date. You send the notice of motion and the motion to the other side, and that's the point from which you can actually affect your spousal maintenance obligation. So you can't when we're talking about modification of spousal maintenance, it doesn't go from the date of the event that you can start modifying it, so it can't be from the date that you lose your job. It's from the date that you send out notice of your motion to modify that spousal maintenance payments can be modified. So we're talking here about retroactive spousal maintenance. You can't go back in time and say, well, I paid all the spousal maintenance after I lost my job. I want that paid back to me. It's basically from the time that you file this notice of motion that you can have them modified. And this differs from the termination events. Termination events, you're looking at the date of the event, not the date of the motion to terminate spousal maintenance. And again, anything that you've paid after the actual termination event, like cohabitation, remarriage, or death of either party, will be paid back, unlike in a modification scenario where you're just talking about the date of the notice of motion. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section beneath this post at learn-about-law.com or in the comments section below our YouTube video on our YouTube station. If you want to be informed of the topics that we post every day, we do an article and video every day, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. And if you need some help, give us a call at 630-324-6666. That's 630-324-6666. We offer free consultations in most areas of law, and we have offices all around Chicagoland for your convenience. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
Thanks so much for watching our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Click the subscribe button for new videos every week, and download and review us on iTunes. Visit learn-about-law.com for other legal-related articles and videos. Visit our business podcast and video blog, seizeyourbusiness.com, and visit Making Real Estate Fun for real estate videos and podcasts. Call us at 630-324-6666 for a free consultation.